suicide attempts and my depression, my anxiety, it's a miracle to see that I'm still here.
I can't find a reason to want to live. I think that's it. That's my problem.
Hey there, my name is Sean, and this is Suicide Noted. On this podcast, I talk with suicide attempt survivors so that we can hear their stories. Every year around the world, millions of people try to take their own lives, and we almost never talk about it. We certainly don't talk about it enough. And when we do talk about it, many of us, we're not very good at it. So one of my goals with this podcast is to have more conversations, and hopefully better conversations with attempt survivors, in large part to help more people in more places hopefully feel a little less shitty and a little less alone. Now, if you are a suicide attempt survivor and you'd like to talk, please reach out. Our email is hello@suicidenoted.com, and I would absolutely love to hear from you. And if that's not your jam, we have a listeners meeting number 2 for our fantastic audience on Sunday, April 27th at 2 p.m. Eastern. Check the show notes for that information. Let's meet one another. In those show notes, you can also learn more about this podcast, including our membership, the Noted Network, which is primarily where we help podcasters launch a podcast. And of course, in Spotify, you will also see a poll. Kind of a newer thing I'm doing. I would love to hear from you and get your thoughts, your ideas, your opinions. Finally, we are talking about suicide on this podcast, and my guests and I don't typically hold back, so please take that into account before you listen or as you listen. But I do hope you listen because there's so much to learn. Today, I am talking with both Austin and Miles. This is a survivor update. I originally spoke with Austin in 2021. He's episode 59. And Miles in 2022, episode 110. So if you want to have a listen, they are, of course, both suicide attempt survivors. And I hope you enjoy our conversation. Austin. Hey.
How's it going?
You look different, bro.
Yeah.
It's different. Cool. And then we got Miles. What's up, Miles?
Hello.
We first spoke, I believe, in 2022.
I think so. Yeah, a couple years ago.
And Austin is in Washington.
I'm in Montana now.
Oh, okay. When we originally talked, it was 2021.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you were talking with your mom in the state of Washington. I remember that you were into tractors. When we first talked, you were in one space, and I don't know if you were suicidal, but we were struggling for sure.
Yeah.
Were you at all limited by how open you wanted to be with your mom there? Because I would be.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a couple questions, then you can give us an overview of what life has been like. Do you remember if you ever actually listened to our conversation?
I did, and a lot of my family did as well.
Do you remember how that felt to hear that and to share it with others?
I guess anxiety-ridden a little bit because my whole family, like a lot of my family will listen to it, and I was like, oh boy.
Yeah. Was there any additional conversation that our conversation brought about?
No.
All right. So nobody really addressed it with you. They just heard it and that was it.
A lot of my family knew that I was struggling because, my mom updated everybody, so everyone knew. So when they listened to it, they just that was that.
That was that.
Yeah.
And so when we first talked in 2021 till today, what's life been like?
Crazy in a good way.
Crazy in a good way. Tell us what's been going on.
Well, I moved to Montana in 2023.
Okay.
And we sold our house in March, moved here to Montana. I'm part of a family business. I'm doing heating and air conditioning. So it's me, my brother, my mom, and my dad, and another guy that works with us. And we're doing a commercial job in town. We got a $1.5 million contract starting in April. And it's just been wild. I've been doing stuff with my church. I've been doing worship at my church. And it's just been crazy.
So crazy good?
Crazy good, yeah.
No crazy bad?
No.
Since we talked, have you been suicidal?
I have been suicidal, but I think about it. I mean, not all the time, but those thoughts are still there. But it's different now because I would never act on it.
You would not?
And my mom and my family have kind of drawn this conclusion, and it makes sense my brother has a kid. He's 3 years old. His name is Hunter, and he is the joy of my world. Like me and him are like best friends. And my mom and my sister-in-law and my brother have actually said, I think him being born in this world saved you. And that's a possibility because me and him are so much alike. He loves heavy equipment like I do. Loves it. He's just a wild child.
Do you know that when we first talked, I asked a bunch of questions, but a couple of things have come up over the years that I've continued to do this that I don't think I asked you. So I'm going to go back and ask you a couple of questions that I never had the chance to because I wasn't asking them. The pink and purple pill is essentially, I give you this pill, and if you take it, you go to sleep, you don't wake up, there's no pain, and nobody knows it's a suicide. It's an easy, safe way out of this world if you take it. I'd asked you in 2021, what would you do if I gave you that pill? Do you know what you might have said?
I probably would have taken it, yeah. Back then, yeah.
As we talk in January of 2025, now in Montana, I'm still at my kitchen table in North Carolina, by the way. What would you do with the pill now?
Not take it?
Not take it. Memoir title, Austin. Now, this is a tough one because usually I'm the one pitching the ideas for the memoir titles. Now, this isn't a memoir or a book you may ever write, but I love the title. So I'm putting you on the spot here. Do you have any idea what your memoir title would be?
Can it just be one word?
Ooh, one word memoir title? Let's do it.
Probably Miracle, because I feel like that's my story in a nutshell.
Miracle.
Yeah. I don't know if my mom shared with you when we were talking, but I was a preemie when I was born. I was 1 pound, 8 ounces when I was born. And, and then, my suicide attempts and my depression, my anxiety, it's a miracle to see that I'm still here. My mom tells me all the time, the doctor said there could have been a lot wrong with you. You could have never walked, could have never talked. And here I am.
Yeah. When we first talked, you had shared, I don't recall, was it one or more than one attempt?
Like 4.
4 attempts back when you were a teenager?
Again, I don't remember that part that far back. It was just probably a good thing.
And tell me about, now the audience won't see this, but you got a different vibe. You got the cool black rim glasses. I think your hair's a little shorter. You're a little scruffy. Are you embracing the tractor man role? But you're not even a tractor man. You're really you're doing the other business now.
Yeah, I get to run heavy equipment once in a while. So that's the plus. Every time there's heavy equipment, my brother's like, get on it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no.
I remember last when we talked, I said one of my coping skills was driving a tractor. Last when we talked, it wasn't actually a tractor, it was a lawnmower. But I don't know if you can see right behind me this picture. That's my tractor.
You got a tractor.
It was my grandpa's, actually. He passed away about 2 years ago. And it's a little Kubota, and it has a front loader on the front and a back on the back. And my grandma's like, Austin, take it to Montana. So I took it to Montana, in a storage unit. I've done a couple gas lines with it at job sites, plowed my brother's driveway with it.
Now, just to be clear, you did not drive the tractor from Washington to Montana.
No, that would be a long drive.
Now, Miles, weren't you into mechanical things too?
Yeah, I built lawnmowers.
Oh, that is cool.
All right. Miles and Austin, you can have your lawnmower talk, but after we get through the other stuff. I'm going to start a podcast just for suicide attempt survivors who are really into lawnmowers and maybe tractors. That's it.
I love that.
Austin, tell me this. Other than the tractors and the move and the business and your nephew, I believe, and the church, and those are a lot of things, is there anything else that's been helping you over this time?
Just embracing God's creation. Just embracing the nature. Compared to Washington, Washington was filled with a bunch of homeless people, and it was just wild. We had to get out. I mean, there is some of that here, but not like it was where I was from.
So the environment's helping.
Extremely.
Is there anything on the sort of doctor medication side that you've been doing that's helpful?
No, I'm actually on just vitamins now. I got all off on my medication. I'm not on any medication anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I guess you just got to find what works for you.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's not always easy. We know.
No, that is the truth. Like I said, I think about it. It comes in spurts, but again, I would never do it again. You know what I mean? Because then when I get in that mindset, I start thinking about my nephew, my mom, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, I couldn't. So
I know we don't have a crystal ball, but when you say you would never, do you think you're going to die a natural death? And when I say that, I mean, people might not like this, but if we put suicide in the category of, let's say, unnatural, you won't be dying that way.
No.
What are you, 21?
I'm going to be 21 here in a couple weeks, actually.
So you got You got a life ahead of you.
Yeah.
Miles, so I think you are in the same place where we first spoke, I believe, right? Bedroom?
My bedroom. It's cold.
It's cold in Michigan, right? We first talked in 2022. Do you remember when the podcast episode came out, if you listened?
I did. It took me a little while to listen. And I actually just re-listened to it right before I reached out to you. And that's what decided, like, I was like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm going to reach out again. And it was weird because it was the beginning of my transition when I started testosterone. So my voice was really high. So I was like cringing at the high voice.
Interesting. So it's not, it's hard for most people to hear their voices, but you had another reason.
Yeah.
How many suicide attempts had you had then?
I had two shitty attempts, is what I call them.
Why did you call them shitty attempts?
Because they were impulsive. I didn't think them through. And I think what happened is I look back now and it was like, I think it was like undiagnosed and unmedicated, like bipolar disorder. And I was like manic and I was under the influence of alcohol both times. So that like depressed like my system and stuff like that. And then that's like the perfect storm for an attempt.
And you tried twice. Have you tried since?
No, but I've had like a lot of plans, which I think have been like almost like worse than my other attempts because like I'm writing letters, like planning to go, stuff like that. It's like more damaging to like your psyche, I feel like.
So the ideating's been there for since we talked.
Yeah, it's actually you caught me in like a depressive episode, so I'm like ideating a lot right now and stuff, so it's like it kind of sucks, but
I wonder if you weren't in that space, you would have looked for the podcast and then reached out to talk, like where are people at when they look for it and then reach out and then show up and then give me permission to publish it, which you did. Do you regret it at all?
no.
Because you just recently listened back. Did you hear anything and like beyond like voiced stuff and you're like cringy? Like what the fuck?
Yeah. I think it was like how I told my story, like I summed it up really like quickly. I don't know. I was just like, there's more going on than just me being impulsive. Like I was depressed and I was like having ups and downs and stuff like that.
Did anyone else hear the episode?
Yeah, I actually when I re-listened to it like a couple weeks ago, I posted it on my story and I was like, who remembers this? Because I posted it a little like right when I did it. Here you go. And then I got like a lot of like support, like that seems to be like a common theme in my life. Like I have a lot of support through like my family and my friends, which I feel like makes it harder for me because like everything that's going on is internal and I have all the support, but I'm still struggling. But I have a lot of support, which I appreciate.
Because it's specifically social media, were there any weird comments?
No, because it was just my friends. It was like limited.
Right. Because if you do, you never know what you're going to get, right? People get a little with this stuff.
Yeah.
You said that you were bipolar and you were drinking. And so did you get treatment that's been helpful?
Yeah, it's helpful when I take my meds. I missed like a period of taking my meds like 3 weeks ago. And I think that's what caused the up and the down right now. So that's why I'm struggling. But I think it helps a little bit when I take my meds.
Yeah. We never got to Pink and Purple or Memoir, right? That was before I started seeing that. So I'm doing it. You know what the Pink and Purple is. I mentioned it to Austin and you hear the podcast. So if you had that quick and easy and painless and whatever other way to end your life, what would you do then and what would you do now? Maybe.
Back then, I think I would have saved it until I got like bad again. And like right now, I feel like I'd take it.
Oh, I'm catching you then. Okay. What's the difference between then and now that then you wouldn't have taken it and now you might take it?
I don't know. I think really right now, like I just kind of, it's new that I got the diagnosis of bipolar. So now like I'm like dealing with the fact that this is like a lifelong thing. Like not forever. I'm going to have ups and downs no matter what. And I'm like, I really don't think I can do that for the rest of my life. So
that's a tough one, man. Yeah. How old are you now?
22.
Has anything else in your life changed in terms of, let's say, like work, relationships?
Yeah, I'm not building lawnmowers anymore. I'm at a hardware store and still coaching gymnastics though. That's the polar opposite thing. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm coaching. I've been like pursuing that more. I'm trying to be a flight attendant. I'm trying to find a career and I might be a flight attendant. So I don't know though. Actually, my job interview is in North Carolina.
Really?
Yeah, so that's where I'd be stationed. So Asheville Airport, that near you?
Oh, Asheville's beautiful. Okay. So that's something. Miles, you got the thing and you got the lawnmower and you got the gymnastics and you got this and that up in Michigan. Putting you on the spot here, like memoir title? What do we got?
I think everything happens for a reason.
I think I need more.
I don't know how these work. Like, what is it exactly? Like, is it like a sum of your life?
No, either Miles. All right. Let me do this. Now, I may ask you both to contemplate this. It's a little unfair. What's the subtitle? Those tend to be a little bit longer. You know how it's just like the title is A Man's Dream, and then the subtitle is How One Person Who Was Left for Dead Found a Way to Climb Back and Thrive. You know, like the subtitle is like a little bit longer. It's like a full sentence. Anyway, you can explore those if you want. All right. So what else, Miles? What else did you want to share? I'm going to come back to you, Austin, and ask the same question with me and whoever hears this about you, what you went through, what you've been going through.
Things have seemed like since we've talked, things have like gotten like worse. I feel like I was listening to the updates of like the other guest update, and like I think his name was Zach, and he was like doing like great, and I was like, that's why I envisioned like myself like being like once I talked, like the hard shit was over, and then I just like it got better, and then I'd be good, I'd be on my way, right? And that's just not what happened. Like I've gone to like a couple of partial hospitalization programs. I'm not sure if you're familiar with those. It's like you go to therapy camp for like 7 hours a day. You talk in group, you do stuff like that. It's like partial hospitalization. So you're not like living there. I don't know. Those seem to help though. My theme is like I can't find like a reason to like want to live. That's my issue. I think that's it. That's my problem.
I do think when I ask former guests to come back, I am pretty sure that those people who feel like they're doing better are more likely to say, I want an update. You know, so, but you're not that person. And I wasn't expecting one way or the other. I think I just want people to be honest. And I think in real life, not everybody always gets better. We know that's true. So I appreciate you sharing that. It's probably an easier thing to say, things are good. But that's the shit you have to probably say most of your life to most people just to get through the fucking day.
Yeah.
What's yours? Things are fine. What's your go-to quick little leave me alone, I'm going to say what you need to hear type of statement?
Things are good. Yep. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah. Things are good. Yeah, I'm good. How you doing? Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Fine.
It works. It does the job.
Yeah. You fine? You good? I'm good. Good. What's new? Not too much. Great. Like I realize that everybody's asking you how you doing. It's a long, detailed, super honest convo. I get it. But I think that all that shit we all do, I certainly do, with the I'm fine. I think that takes a toll. No?
It's got to.
Austin, what else did you want to share? Sort of more of an open-ended thing about then or now that didn't come up.
It's just been a wild ride. I picked up a couple new hobbies since I've been here besides the tractor. Picked up a couple new hobbies, and it's just been doing worship at my church. That was fun. On Christmas, I did 10 services I had to sing at. If I knew then what I knew now, I'd probably do it again, if I'm being honest.
If you knew then what you know now, you'd go through the same stuff.
I would, because I know what the end result is now.
It's Been Wild is also not a bad memoir title. Just saying. What does it feel like, Miles, to hear somebody who was also suicidal, but now they're doing well, and that doesn't sound like it applies to you?
Mixed emotions. Like it feels like good that they're doing good, and it's like gives me a little bit of hope that like that could happen. But it's also like a little like defeating. It's like, man, like why can't I be like that? I compare all the time.
Same. Yeah, I get that.
I'm in the same boat. I still have trouble with comparing. I get it.
I think it might be just part of the human condition for many people. Maybe social media makes it even like comparing on crack because it's like, what the fuck? Nonstop, all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
Austin, how did you like get into your faith? Because I've been trying to explore that, but I have no idea how to even, get into that.
I've always believed in something. But back in Washington, I went to a church, and I never grew up going to church. When I did those suicide attempts, you know what I mean, that it wasn't working. I needed something else. Me and my family have always believed, but we went to that church and we fell in love. And then I got baptized at that church in Washington. And then when I moved up here, I guess you got to be ready on your own time, I guess, is what I'm getting at. And then it's hard. and it's not easy. Faith in God is really sensitive to a lot of people, and I understand that. And it's just on your own time and whenever you're ready, and you gotta wait. God opens the door for you, and when He's there waiting for you. So when you're ready to get into it, then He's right there waiting for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Sean, how are you? How are you doing?
Thank you for asking that. I'm doing all right. I struggle, man. I struggle.
I listened to the podcast about your friend. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, that was a long, long time ago. Thanks for listening. But yeah, I'm really glad the podcast is chugging along. Hey, still bald, still sleeveless.
I'm balding too, Sean. So yeah.
All right. So you all are in your early 20s and you know what it's, you know the pain. So the big question one day, if you want to take this plunge, is if you ever want to do what I do. When I was like I was like 30 or 31 when I shaved it. Not everybody has the right head for that.
I'm very self-conscious if I do it because I have a shunt in my head. I'm the guy that doesn't like to answer questions. People are nosy, and I feel like I'd have to answer that 10,000 times going down the street or going in the store or whatever, and I don't want to answer.
You got it. When Miles, you said you have shaved already?
Mm-hmm. I didn't look good. My sister said I looked like a potato.
I don't think people want to look like right, but you didn't shave it to the scalp. It was like a crew cut.
Yeah, it had some hair left. Like it wasn't bald.
Yeah, that would be more monkish, maybe.
I look like a monk. That'd be pretty funny. Asian monk.
An Asian monk, potato monk.
Potato monk.
That's a memoir title.
Okay, I'm changing it.
Who's not reading that?
Everyone would read that. Come on.
Now, there's no words, so there's nothing to read, but just the title. But nonetheless, it would be enticing.
Yes, very.
Miles, how did you get into building lawnmowers?
Here we go.
So I summed it up and just said lawnmowers because people didn't know what I was building because I didn't really know what I was building, but lawn equipment. It's aerators, log splitters, stump grinders, stuff like that. That's what I was building.
Oh, sweet.
And my neighbor works for the company. And then I was like, I need a job. And he was like, just come work for me. So I was on an assembly line, just building parts. It was pretty fun. I like bodybuilder.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. Think about that job often. If I go back, maybe.
Yeah, it sounds cool. Sounds like something up my alley. But not unfortunately, it's a blessing. I'm doing HVAC now. It's definitely not my career choice, but it's a blessing.
Are a couple more questions for both of you. Since we talked, and I don't remember what you originally said, are there any other myths or misconceptions around any of this stuff that you want to call bullshit on? Because that's certainly something, given what you've gone through since we talked, that could have changed, or maybe you have an additional one. Let's start with Miles.
Yeah, I said this last time, and I stuck by it. The selfishness, even if it is selfish, sometimes you have to be a little selfish. I feel like if you're in that headspace, you're not thinking, "Oh, I'm going to do this to hurt this person." You're doing it because you think it's the best option, or for yourself and everyone around you. So
I feel like in the realm of faith, I feel like people were to think you were to go to hell, and I mean, I disagree with that. God can forgive that. I mean, even though it's a sin, all sins are forgivable. Doesn't it mean if you ended your own life and that was the last act you did on earth, doesn't mean you're going to go to hell. And I feel like a lot of people in faith believe that. I don't believe that because you can be redeemed. That'd be, in my opinion, that people were to think you're going to hell.
That's such an interesting one because
it's a really tough subject because I feel like when people say you're going to hell and people feel like that, I feel like that scares the person. They just feel stupid when you throw are you going to go to hell?
I may have asked this originally, and I don't know why this fascinates me so much, but for either of you, does anyone know we're talking?
No, not right now, but I'll tell people about it. It's a way to talk to them about suicide without directly talking to them about suicide.
What about you, Austin? You have to tell your parents or your mom or your friends or
my mom? It's funny. I have friends, but my parents and my family say I'm an old soul. So my friends are like my dad's age. I don't really my generation. I don't know. It's tough. People in my generation are mean. I have a friend. It's one of our contractors. He's 48 years old. And me and him are best friends.
Yeah, it's hard to make those connections.
But yes, people do know that we're talking. My mom knows, my brother knows, my aunt knows, my dad knows.
Do you have any specific goals for 2025? I was going to say resolutions. I hate that word. And I know, Austin, you're in a different space than Miles, but I want to ask the same question. So Austin, do you have any specific goals for 2025?
Our goal is to get property and have like a family compound and have acreage and kind of like do like a homestead type thing. But my personal goal, I want to stay with the family business. My brother, I'm going to service school in about a couple weeks. I'm going to be being my brother's service technician. So I'm going to be going around, starting up the units. Going to have my own little Ford Transit van. Going to be going around, starting up the units, wiring up the unit, putting a refrigerator in them. So I'm excited about that.
All right. That's awesome. Now, Miles, I know you mentioned something about applying to be a flight attendant. So I imagine that's maybe one thing, but what else, if anything?
Find like some sort of happiness or like some stability, maybe, make it through the year, like basic survival mode goals.
Do you have any fear that like somehow in the very unlikely chance that someone from the airline stumbles across this podcast, hears you? Does that worry you? I worry about the public nature of things and how it unfairly, I would say, affects people's livelihoods.
Yeah, I think that could be because I got denied from one of the airlines. And I feel like it could have been because of my social media and I posted about mental health stuff. That could have been one of the reasons because I can't tell you why they denied you. But so I'm worried about it, but I'm like, if you really I do struggle with it. Like it's not a secret. So I don't want it to be a secret. So I just, whatever happens, happens.
Whatever happens, happens. Not as good as Potato Monk.
I was going to say Potato Monk's way better.
Potato Monk is a winner.
It's superior. Come on.
All right. What else would either of you like to share? I really appreciate talking and catching up with both of you.
I want to know your thoughts on this. I learned this in therapy camp from one of the facilitators. He said that being suicidal is like a coping mechanism. Like it's a way to cope with your reality and remove yourself from reality and fantasize about other stuff. And I was like, for me, it makes sense.
That makes sense. I think it might be not a complete idea. So I think there's people who are suicidal and who try, and it's not just about fantasy. I think they actually really do want to die. So I don't know if that overlaps with the idea of fantasy. It might. I do understand though, and this is just personally having, even if it's super passive, but it's there, it's a possibility. It's always I could see that being one way to cope for sure. Yeah, man, it's complicated. Well, at least I think it is. Maybe it's pretty simple. No. Austin, anything else before we get back to our lives? You in Montana, Miles in Michigan, me in North Carolina, and it's cold all around, I'm sure. What else, sir?
Nothing. I appreciate you letting me come on here and update you.
I am very grateful that you were patient and we're finally doing this. And I also really appreciate you being open to doing it with another human here, because that does change the dynamic a little bit. I'm always thinking you add another person, are people a little less honest? Wow, maybe we'll update again.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I mean, you got to stay alive. Now, I'm not telling you what to do. It's not how I roll. You make your own choices. I believe in agency. I believe in choice. And I hope you keep listening. If it's giving you any value, it's another question I want to ask people. It's I'm pretty sure there's a good number of people, for whatever their reasons are, that don't want to listen, don't need to listen. There was a time in their life, there was something that gave them, but no more. And again, those are probably not the people who are going to even reach out to update, because how would they even know? So thanks, guys, very much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
Stay well. As always, thanks so much for listening and all of your support, and special thanks to both Austin and Miles for joining me here again for their survivor update. Thank you both. If you are a suicide attempt survivor and you would like to talk, whether it is an update or you're new to this, please reach out. hello@suicidenoted.com. I'd love to hear from you. You can check the show notes to learn more about this podcast, all kinds of stuff, including our membership and the Noted Network. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you. And that is all for episode number 262. Stay strong. Do the best you can. I will talk to you soon.